More than a year after the Montana State Legislature passed a string of anti-LGBTQ legislation, two Democratic Party candidates are on track to make history as the state's first openly transgender public office holders. Butterflies blanketed Missoula ahead of the primary this year as supporters of Zephyr plonked her campaign signs in their yards. After last week's primary, Zephyr, a transgender woman, became the Democratic candidate for the Montana House District 100 in Missoula. Non-binary Democratic candidate S.J. Howell is the candidate for Senate District 95. Both Zephyr and Howell said the 2021 legislative session influenced their decisions to run.
And I looked at bills like SB 280, the birth certificate bill, which passed the Senate by one vote. And I looked at that and I thought, I could be the difference. I know I could change a heart, I could change a mind.
Senate Bill 280 was signed into law in 2021 and required transgender Montanans to show proof they'd undergone surgery and gotten a court order before the state would swap the gender marker on their birth certificate. Two transgender Montanans challenged the law as unconstitutional, and a judge ordered the health department to stop enforcing it until the case was settled. The 2021 law was a shift away from a more simplified process established by the Bullock administration in 2017. In 2018, Zephyr was able to change the sex on her birth certificate.
And when they called to clarify and confirm the change, I asked, what is this going to look like? What's this process? And the response I got was, as far as the state of Montana is concerned, we are correcting a 30-year clerical error.
Zephyr called it a joyous moment in her transition.
And to know that that your safety is promised down to your documents is incredibly important.
At the end of May, the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services issued a temporary emergency rule eliminating any path for transgender Montanans to change either the sex or gender on their birth certificates.
To see DPHHS ignore the injunction and pass the emergency ruling, it felt like a needless cruelty.
Howell is non-binary. They do not subscribe to either gender marker. Montana does not have a non-binary option for birth certificates.
So, yes, my ultimate hope and vision for Montana is that we get a lot closer to providing opportunities for all trans folks, including non-binary folks, to have not just the documentation, but the access to ability to live a meaningful life. And I think that part of what we can do towards that vision is just addressing the sort of backward situation that we're in now.
Both Howell and Zephyr said if they win their races in November, they won't be single-issue candidates. They want to represent the breadth of issues affecting Montanans. But when LGBTQ+ issues do arise, both said they hoped their presence will center the conversation on the people who will be affected by anti-LGBTQ+ legislation.
It matters to have people in the room. Representation doesn't just matter theoretically, it makes the difference.
A public hearing on the state health department's rule preventing changes to sex and gender markers on transgender birth certificates is scheduled for 9 a.m. Thursday, June 30th. In Helena, Ashley Nerbovig, MTN News.